I'm Leslie Duffy with the IADR, and today I'm talking with Bambi,
Hey, everybody.
and we're going to talk about motivation because I certainly could use a little bit. So, what might you suggest, Bambi, for getting out there and being motivated?
Gosh, I think the time of year, I think we go through cycles, certainly with the wheel of the year. This time of year, I think at the beginning of summer, and then again, like in the winter time when the seasons are kind of changing, I think we go through this lull where we're just kind of in limbo. We feel overwhelmed by unfinished projects. I know I have so many unfinished projects that I keep saying I want to get to, and I'm just not motivated to do that.
I'm with you on the weather now. Has it been, your weather has been hotter. Ours right now actually has been very wet. It's been actually
It's
cold and
hot.
dreary.
Yes, it's extremely hot here in Alabama. That rainy weather, I love it. I can sit inside and work, and I love that atmosphere. And then other times when it's raining like that, I just want to sit on the couch and flip through the TV.
So that plays into your mood and stuff too, because,
Well,
like,
so yeah, so when I'm feeling that way, a couple of things that I like to do. First of all, I mentioned I have several unfinished projects. Before I even decide I'm going to go into my studio and do some work, I already plan it out in my head what it is that I'm going to do. Because inevitably I will go in there and I'll walk around in circles and go, gosh, I've got so much to do. I can do this or I can do that or I can do this right here. And then you get more and more overwhelmed and then you're like, okay, I'll just come back later. So if I go up there and say, okay, today I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna paint that the doll head and hands and feet that I sculpted a month ago. I'm going to go up there today and I'm going to paint those things. Then I can go into my studio and I can go straight for those items and start right away without all that wishy-washy stuff in the beginning.
you get to take one more check mark off your to-do list. So it gives you a feeling
Yes,
of
yes,
accomplishment.
exactly, exactly. And I think we all keep lists, to-do lists and stuff, but that list can be overwhelming too. So
Mhm.
sometimes if I'm down there downstairs and I'm getting ready to go to work and I think, okay, what do I want to do? I might pull up that list and say, oh, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But I try to have a plan before I even walk into my workspace. The other thing is when I am working on something, I like to leave my workspace in a way that I can just jump right in tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Getting ready is almost as much work as the work itself.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
I'm also very motivated watching tutorials. I probably mentioned that before. I get very motivated to do something, regardless of what it is I want to do. When I watch those, I'm motivated because I think, oh, I can do that. If I want to work on my stop motion that day, or if I want to start a new doll project, or if I want to make clothes, even though I've seen 10 million videos of that happening and I know how to do it, if I watch my favorite doll maker doing that, it motivates me then to get up and go do the same thing.
For me yesterday too, it helped because I am trying to sculpt the head, and this is like, just pick it up, even if it is for just a short time, pick it up. But then I noticed that the music, because I need to have music playing when I'm sculpting, that I picked one that was a little bit more meditational level, Celtic type thing. And that helped me to get a little bit more into the mood of wanting to put positive vibes into what I was sculpting
Yeah.
instead of just wanting to squish it.
Music is amazing of how it sets the tone for what you want to do at the time. It's really interesting how it can motivate you.
I was thinking because somebody else was telling me about that they're trying to find out more about themselves and going to some therapy so that they can kind of decide why they are the way they are. But sculpting is one of those really great meditative tools that allows us to find out more about ourselves. Even if you don't produce something out of even picking up the clay, if you even just touch the clay, it still can help that motivational slump.
Yeah, yes. And one of the things I love about the education that we give people, as I've talked to more and more people, when they ask me what I do at my studio, they kind of see sculpting as either marble sculptures that you have taken a hammer and chisel to with tractive sculpting,
Mhm.
or pottery and ceramics. They think of that. And that's really only two ways that people think about sculpting. Our magazine and our podcast and the other things that we do, the shows that we put on every quarter or so, that helps people to see, oh my gosh, there's so much more to sculpting. And I think learning about stuff like
Mhm.
that is very motivational.
Well, and that was one of the things that came out of the MITA event over there in Italy, was that we had more than one person, especially in a younger generation, that came up and said, I didn't even know there was anything like this.
Yeah.
And so that for them to see the dolls, they were just getting their eyes open. And in some respects, they had their own interest of dolls, but they didn't know that there was a group that they could even belong to that would
Oh,
support them in
multiple.
what they were doing.
I
Yeah.
think it's true because, I didn't know anything. My medium is polymer clay. And I didn't know anything about polymer clay until about 2018. I was strictly a writer. That was the only side gig that I had at the time, was writing. Before COVID, we had a lot of events and stuff for our readers, and authors were always giving things away, and we were raffling off baskets at our events and different things like that. So I was just looking around for something that I could do, and since my books had some fairies in them, I thought, oh, I can make fairy doors and fairy houses. People love that stuff, and I can give those away. They'll be cheap to make, and I can give those away at reader events. So I started looking around for things to make stuff out of, things out of natural materials, and making things out of balsa wood, and making things out of cardboard and air dry clay. I don't know. It's kind of strange. When I first started, I kind of was looking at videos of people doing things with air dry clay, and it just didn't appeal to me the same as doing things with polymer clay. So I jumped right on the polymer clay bandwagon and never looked back. But I didn't think about making dolls with it. I would have never considered making dolls with it until I saw some other people. It's like you're talking about, you see videos or you see pictures or you see people on different social media posting pictures of the dolls that they've made, and you're like, oh my gosh, how did they do that? And you learn then that, some people use porcelain and some people use other things and some people use polymer clay like me. That's why I think that learning about new stuff is such a motivational thing, because you're like, yeah, I
It
can
is.
do
In fact,
that.
just as you said that, that's really what you want to do, is just jumpstart your brain again. And
Yeah.
sometimes taking it into a new direction is all that we need to get jump started with. Somebody says, reset yourself on a Saturday, and then all these little things that you can, the candle, the mug of coffee, the little, tile and stuff to kind of help reset yourself. And we do. We really do need to reset ourselves. And whatever, if it's sometimes just looking at something totally different than the way you've been doing it, is enough to get you excited again.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's yes, and even things that I don't do, like painting. I'm not a painter, and I don't even like to paint my dolls because I'm not good at it. But so it's kind of like that, she's painting and you're just following along. It's kind of a follow along kind of thing, but she doesn't do any talking or anything like that. And she only ever uses five colors: black and white and blue and yellow and red. And she paints these fabulous, beautiful nature scenes just with those colors. She's
Uh-huh.
mixing stuff like that, and you're looking at your go, oh my God, that looks so easy. I know I can do it. And kept thinking, I'm going to try that, but I haven't yet. So yeah, so this is a perfect example. What's going to motivate me to actually do that? So here's what I might think about next time I'm in my studio, which will be later on this afternoon, is to take out all the things I need for this painting experiment. Lay it all out so that tomorrow when I go up to my studio, all I have to do is pick up my paintbrush and turn on the video and follow along with her. So that's a good way for me to motivate myself to give this a try.
And as you just said, you're not having to go out, and you've got your supplies you already bought. You don't have to pay for the tutorial. You don't have to travel. You don't have to worry about, paying for an instructor and everything. So
Right?
it's
No,
not that hard to simply go out and do a little reset without having to spend an arm and a leg doing it either.
what are we afraid of? It's like we're afraid
Exactly.
to start, afraid to
Yep.
start. Why are we afraid? We've watched all the videos, we've bought all the stuff, we've done all of those things, all the things. We're ready. We're ready. It's just that,
It's that one thing that I hear so much out of the younger generation that it drives me crazy. Is if they can't do it absolutely perfect the first time, they don't want to do it. And I'm thinking,
Oh,
how many times have I sculpted a head, or how many times you do anything and never ever get
know
it
how
right the
many
first time?
duck lips I get on my dolls? They have those stupid looking little duck lips because I can't sculpt a mouth to save my life. But I'm
And
gonna keep trying and I'm gonna keep watching videos and figure it out because that's just, that's what you do. But you're right. They want to be perfect the first time.
they miss out on that process, because what's more important is the process that we go through to get our end result. Because once you're in the end result, you've got to start all over again. But if you learn something along the way, that's what made that whole, taking that path worth it.
Get better and better. You really
Yeah.
are gonna get better. You can't help but get better. Gotta just keep pushing.
When they talk about, people are feeling so much more depressed right now, and, they don't see a future. And that's the reason why really picking up a hobby, doing a tutorial, something is even more important, because it's not even so much just being motivated, because all that kind of energy also drains us. But it's the simple fact is for your mental health, sometimes you need to get away from some of that negativity that's out there in the news and social media.
Oh, definitely. And certainly talking about people younger than us, they need more opportunities to not be connected to
Mhm.
electronics. They need more hands-on things. They need more opportunities to fail.
There's a new resurgence in sewing, because the kids are finding out about the fact that, they don't have the money or whatever to necessarily go out and buy the fashion that they wanted to. And they're finding out that they can now go back to sewing, and they're finding out about the sewing machine and how they can redesign some of their clothes from secondhand stores and stuff. I mean, I'm just getting a kick out of it, because that's what they need to do, is find out that they can do
Yes,
this stuff themselves.
I'm amazed at the young people who come into my studio and are doing things that we might consider now old fashioned, like
Hmm.
sewing our own clothes and
Yeah.
crocheting. Oh, not even knitting.
Mhm.
Crochet, knitting was always kind of like the higher level of crocheting.
Yeah,
Once you
I'm a
master
crocheter, but I
crochet,
know what you're saying. Yes.
yeah, you can advance to knitting. But I see so many people who come in and I admire something they're wearing or their bag or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, I made it," and I'm thinking, "Oh my goodness, that's incredible. That's great." Because when I was growing up, if your clothes were homemade,
And that's what mass production has done to us. But we're going to get an education, I'm sure, in the next couple of years. Well,
yeah,
dear, I think we've come up with some excellent ideas for some motivation. And as we say, if anybody's listening and would like to put their comments about what might motivate themselves, please
yeah,
do share it with us. We appreciate it. I think I'm going to go outside and get some sunshine for some motivation today.
we're getting ready to have a thunderstorm.
Well, then we'll see you then next time, Bambi.
Okay, that sounds great. Bye, everyone.